Hey everybody, we as in Shay and I,
Hey guys.
are back to talk about Nintendo Direct. It kind of came out of nowhere. It was announced a couple days ago that they're going to be holding one, and I kind of had low expectations because I thought, what could they really announce for this fall that they hadn't already announced? And I think the overall thing wasn't that spectacular. They kind of had 4 big announcements that they kind of went hot and heavy with, which is basically what I sent you. And if we have, so we're gonna go into like the big topics. If we have time, maybe I'll shatter some other things off. But let's start things off with the game that I'm sure that you're most excited about, which is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Finally has an actual release date of this year for December 1st, which I could not believe. I thought maybe they'll say like, oh, coming in 2018, even though they kept on hard on 2017. X came out.
I feel like
X came out in 2015. That's insane. And X was in development forever.
Then. Yeah, it was insane when Chronicle X came out.
It was delayed and delayed and delayed, and I mean,
so does this make you think that they actually were planning both of these way back then, and that's why that's why the original took so long?
I don't know. Maybe just the Wii U was hard to develop for, but I mean, they also helped out with Breath of the Wild too, so maybe they just got like a new team, perhaps. But maybe they were developing both simultaneously. It's hard to say. Either way. The game looks real good. Got that original Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii vibe to it. A little bit more anime. Go ahead.
I don't know. I got a weird Star Ocean vibe. Watching some of this stuff.
They kind of do look a little bit like or Phantasy Star. Yeah, maybe a little bit, yeah. But yeah,
I'm excited.
I do like. I was really surprised that there's like a bunch of different factions and like empires in this game.
Yeah, they did a lot of world building for this one, and I think maybe that's what people were complaining about for the last one, because all the way back to Xenogears had such a lush and vibrant world that
just eventually like fell apart. Yeah, and also Xenosaga also had like a whole thing. It was just cut short by not just a disc, but 3 games.
Right, and I guess the direction changing between one to the other, because we all universally know that Xenosaga 2 was the weirdest one.
It was really hard too. It was just a strange like jump in terms of just the tone and the gameplay.
Design, gameplay. I mean, I would have been fine having Xenosaga's original gameplay for all of them, but nope. They had to do something different. And let's hope that this new thing for Chronicles 2 isn't going to be that like that. Even though it feels really complicated, like more complicated than it should be.
Yeah, exactly. I was surprised that they showed so much of like all these different things going on, but who knows how much that actually is going to go into place. But the battle system looks fairly similar to what they had before. It's kind of strange that your weapons are like humans. I mean, we've seen that before. I mean, that was just in Tales of Xillia.
Oh, Zestiria?
Yes, Zestiria. Zestiria was the one that the people were like transformative
the
weapon. So it's not like it's an off-world concept to have people or anthropomorphic, and like Soul Eater too, to bring in like an anime reference into here. It's strange, but I'm looking forward to it. This is actually the game that I was waiting to buy a Switch for, because I could wait to play all the other games eventually as like a nice backlog, but Xenoblade was the one I was like, I'll get it when that comes out, and so I kind of want to buy one tomorrow, but then...
Oh, just get ready for it?
Yeah, but then they announced, we'll just go into Mario next, that they're making a special edition for that, with the case
Oh.
and the
Oh, that's right. Yep, yep, yep.
and the red controllers, and it comes to the game. It's gonna be $380. So you save a little bit of money with like that bundle, but
Right.
it's not like the the design is that cool to me. It's not like the red is like, oh wow, I need to get the red one. But it is kind
Wow.
of like a nice bundle. But I just wonder how rare it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be. Speaking of rare things, actually going back one more time because there actually is a exclusive one. The pre-order for the special edition of Xenoblade looks amazing. That box art looks crazy,
Yeah.
and also that Pro controller, that hot pink and that like turquoise blue look fantastic together.
Yeah.
I really want that controller.
As soon as, well, for me, not just that the game's going to come in a steel case, I really could care less about that, but the 220-page art book is what I really am excited for if I was going to go for it.
It looks nice, but yeah, I don't know if I want to get a normal Switch or wait for the Mario one, or wait till closer because I kind of want to get a deal.
Right.
That's another thing besides the whole Xenoblade. I just been waiting for like a deal to drop in price, but that's probably not going to happen because the Switch has been selling nonstop. So
Right. It's just like when the Wii first came out.
yeah. So I am probably going to be getting a Switch sometime soon. But yes, Mario. They showed more stuff with it. I'm still very hyped for that game. I was like, I think you showed a lot at E3. Like they had tons of live streams of it, and I thought I saw more than I needed to. And then they showed some more today, which was kind of strange because I mean, I was sold. I was sold at E3 or whatever.
Right, because this is the first Mario to not just be original Mario with a brand new look and updated graphics.
Yeah, but actually, I'm glad that we're recording this very late after the Switch thing came out, just so you listeners know why it's. There is a huge, not controversy, but people are freaking out that Mario has nipples.
Oh my God! So at my job, there's a Twitter feed on the TVs at work, and that was on the Twitter feed, and I was like, really? What the heck is this about?
Oh, I'm gonna have some fun when I get home tonight to watch this thing. I
Right?
don't understand it. I mean, I assumed
What?
he had nipples. He's like he's a human, but not. I don't know why people are
He's
freaking
like-
out about this.
He's like Tyrion from Game of Thrones. He's just short, people.
Actually, you know what? Also, people pointed out like Fire Emblem people don't have nipples; they just have like chiseled ab bodies. So, I don't.
What's the problem, America?
I don't know. Is the problem that he has nipples and Fire Emblem does not, or is the problem that the opposite? I don't know. Either way, don't want to spend too much more time on Mario. It looks fantastic. The Goomba and that Koopa. Oh wait, didn't.
Oh, with the the thing on the chain.
Yeah,
I
that.
thought that looked really cool. Is that Bowser's mom?
I don't think so.
Does he have a mother?
Who knows? And who is Bowser Jr.'s mother? Is it Peach? Who knows? What's the lore? But that pterodactyl thing he turns into at the end, I was just like, that kind of reminded me of how hyped we were for that that fuzzy game that we talked about for Gamescom. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yep.
Biomutant. It reminded me of like some of the things from that, like the mech and like the flying machine or whatever. Anyway, yeah, it looks huge and gorgeous, and I can't wait to play that. Next, I guess we should talk about Project Octopath Traveler.
Oh man.
This is another reason. Go ahead.
Oh, I really hope it is like a romancing saga. I think Square finally answered my prayers.
There are 2 romancing saga type games from this thing, but we originally saw Octopath Traveler when we did the whole Switch event, if you remember back in January, and it looked promising. Now they showed more. They explained more about how the game works.
Like I am genuinely excited for this Octopath game.
I like how they described it as like HD
Like,
2D or whatever. It's like
yeah,
pre-rendered backgrounds, but like with sprites. It kind of looks odd, but it works. It looks really stunning.
like, and I like that it's an updated battle system of Bravely Default.
Yeah, it's that team doing it. And another reason why I wanted to get the Switch tomorrow is because a demo went live, and
Right? And then you get to tell them.
I was like, what? That was like, that is amazing. That was like really cool. Of all
Right?
these games to have a demo, that was like the perfect thing. Which
And then,
kind of makes me a little worried that they want your feedback. Like, how much of this game do they know about? Because the last game that Nintendo released a demo for, that a company, a Japanese company, wanted your feedback. I may be missing one, but I think it was all the way back to the 3DS's launch around that time with Mega Man
oh no.
Legends 3. And they
Oh
released
no.
a demo of that for people to play in the public that you could download. I didn't get a 3DS before they pulled that from the shop and canceled the game. So you cannot find that. You can't even find that demo out there anymore to play it.
Really?
I never got to play it, and I'm never going to play it
Oh.
because it was canceled, and I'm pissed off about that. So that's why obviously this one is, it's not some weird sequel kind of things that it's gonna be some
Right.
controversy around. So I think it's just
So you think this is Square's like because of I Am Setsuna? Remember they said they were gonna think about making more games like that?
I think so. The one problem I have with it, with like the 3D battles and stuff like that, or the battles, actually, it would look, I think, better on the 3DS with 3D support. You would have like the characters pop out at you with those like
Yeah.
standard backgrounds. That's all. I was like, were they developing that? Because it is the Bravely Default team, so I wonder if
Right.
there's some kind of weird port there. But I mean, that's fine. It still looks good as the way it
It
is.
does.
So yeah, I actually really want to get on this beta demo thing and
Right?
uh, I guess
Oh.
let them know what I think. You should actually put this to the 3DS, and then I'm going to return to the Switch. I don't need this. I only needed to play this to tell you guys that I wanted it on the 3DS. Okay, thanks,
I
bye.
want it on the 3DS.
Okay.
And please bring back games that have the 3D. I'm missing it now that I don't have it with every game.
Someone made a good point, and we'll segue real quick here, that, the Secret of Mana remake that we talked about
Mm-hmm.
is, someone said, would you have wanted it more like a Final Fantasy VII style, like a full blast remake? And they're like, no, this is exactly what I want. This is actually kind of what I even wanted for Final Fantasy VII, just in, some kind of up-res Final Fantasy VII. They didn't need to go
Yeah.
full blast. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? They made a huge mistake releasing that PS3 tech demo, and now they're like stuck in having to like make this thing and make good on
Yeah.
like their 10-year promise 10 years ago. I don't know if anyone even wants to make this thing, if they're just obligated about that. But I guess that's kind of a whole topic for another show.
Right.
But the point is, I would go for like a classic PS1 visual type RPG. Obviously more, clean, and that's kind of
Yeah.
why we must have talked about this before, or maybe I've written about it, where the 3DS is pretty much where the RPGs have been for a very long
Yeah.
time. Like the PS1, PS2 style RPGs have been for like the longest time. And for the most part, they've been in the new consoles too, but they've been
Mm-hmm.
more kind of action oriented. There's no huge turn based things. And obviously,
No.
there's Persona and there's a bunch of other games, so I don't need corrections on that. But, I mean, primarily, the 3DS and even like the DS and like the Vita is just like
Well, I was
the
yeah.
golden haven of like where the RPGs have gone. And I'm fine with like the lower tier graphics because there's a lot of great games on those portable
Well,
systems because they didn't have to worry about like the graphics and stuff like that.
and I think we haven't been completely spoiled by not having something really good graphic. Like playing those games back in the day, you're used to seeing things a certain way, but now like kids coming up and playing games fresh, they only
Final Fantasy
know.
VII hurts my
Yeah,
eyes.
they only know that games are supposed to look really good and really polished and take a million times to get the patches right.
Yeah, they're also cover based third person shooters.
Yeah, that's true.
or-
No kid today plays RPGs.
only like a select few of the chosen. The
Right?
chosen. But yeah, it looks fantastic. I don't know why I want this game to be called. Couldn't they just call it Octopath Traveler? Just skip the project. I know they said it's a tentative title, obviously, but I think
Man,
Octopath
it's
Traveler is
Square.
fine enough for me.
It's Square, so it's gonna be something really weird,
It's also
Infinite Undiscovery.
it's also Bravely Default, which the full name in Japanese I think was Bravely Default Flying Fairy. So
Oh, yep, we got.
is
I
that
remember
what they
seeing that.
call that here too?
Yeah, it was the subtitle under Bravely Default.
Maybe it's even
Because remember when you get to that certain point, it says Airy Lies.
Oh, that's right. They do. Well, then maybe it was longer in Japan, or maybe the sequel was longer. One of the titles is longer than what we got over here.
Right.
I
know. Yeah, Bravely Default 2 was kind of short. But whatever.
Yeah. Either way, we are both very hyped for that game. Two awesome RPGs for this thing.
Right.
And that's for next year, so that's something to look forward to.
Oh,
go ahead.
The other Atlas game. We didn't talk about that yet, did we?
No, we have not. So that had already been announced. I think that it was coming over to the West. Atlas kind of in the direct, they kind of like very very briefly, like each game got like 5 seconds to like show like the date or what the thing is about, something like that.
Right.
So Atlas showed off the Alliance Alive, Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey, Redux, Radiant Historia, Perfect Chronology, and Etrian Odyssey 5 Beyond the Myth, that they're all 3DS games coming soon or coming next year. Actually, I didn't send you the trailer, but I wanted to tell you live on air so you could even be more hyped than Project Octopath Traveler. There's a demo out now for Etrian Odyssey 5.
Oh ho ho!
So
Gonna get myself on that.
yeah, that one you get to tell them changes in a month.
Oh shit!
Just kidding. So yeah, they announced all those things, and then they also released full-on trailers, which is the one I sent you after the fact. So the Alliance Alive is basically the spiritual successor to a spiritual successor, which is kind of strange.
Right.
The Legend of Legacy, which both of us really liked, and it was actually the spiritual... Oh my god, I can't say that. The spiritual successor to Romancing Saga. And Octopath Traveler is actually Square Enix's spiritual successor to that, because they kind of destroyed Romancing Saga, essentially. And then that's why this team kind of went off to make their own thing, and now they're making a sequel to that, kind of, sort of. But anyway, it looks really great. I am pretty hyped to play that next year. I'm hoping it's good, because I really want to do like a bigger deep dive, because we never got to really talk about Legend of Legacy.
No.
It's harder for 3DS games for like capture and stuff. I like to have screenshots and capture, and
right.
It sucks for the 3DS.
I know you and I, we usually will take a picture with our phone, because I remember when you got that really cool sword.
Yeah, I was like, check out this thing I randomly got.
Yeah, and then I took a picture when I got some pretty nice gear.
Yeah. It's strange, but yes, hype for that. And I guess the other big thing was Kirby Star Allies, which they announced at E3, but they didn't have a title, and now they decided they have a title a couple months later. And it looks like a fine Kirby game. People are also freaking out that King DDD has like abs. So like King DDD feel like abs and muscles, and Mario having nipples is like the huge takeaway, I guess, from this Nintendo Direct.
You guys are perfectly fine with King DDD being a fat asshole, but when he starts getting in shape and buffing up, nope, you've gone too far.
I think they actually like that he's doing that, or maybe not. I don't know. There's a bunch of other stuff that came out. There's a bunch of Pokemon stuff that is nothing really new. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, we kind of already talked about that in our preview. Minecraft for 3DS, I think might be like the last the last platform that it has never been on. I think was the last the last frontier. I guess that's. I spared you having to look at Mario Party: The Top 100, which is basically,
Oh, wow.
I think they said it's the 20th anniversary of the series. So they basically took all 10 games and they took the 100 best mini games from those, and they're just repackaging it in a 3DS game. So that's gonna be fun. I'm surprised that they gave a very short snippet to Fire Emblem Warriors for both the 3DS and Switch. Very, very brief for both, and I was like, oh, alright, I guess you're not really caring that much, but I guess it's not technically them who's doing it, so I guess, they get short shrift. I mean, it's a Warriors game, so, I mean, what else can you really explain about it?
Yeah, I guess it's a different flavor, but it's still the same kind of tea.
Yeah. Skyrim has a release date now. It's going to be the 17th of November. So I guess if anyone hasn't played that game yet...
If no one's ever played Skyrim, well, here's your chance.
Yeah. And they kind of announced a virtual console thing, but not really. The only virtual console stuff that has been coming to the Nintendo Switch, and they haven't even called it the virtual console, is SNK has been releasing a lot of arcade games on there, like the Samurai Showdown,
SNK,
Metal Slug. So yeah, they have a lot of awesome arcade games, and that's really cool. And then Nintendo announced that they're going to have an arcade archives as well for a lot of their arcade ports of the original Punch-Out, Donkey Kong, Mario Brothers, both the first one and the original Mario Brothers, that weird the jumping on the crabs, the battle one, Clue Land, Balloon Fight, just a lot of weird things that. Why are you bringing these ones?
Ice Climbers.
I think Ice Climbers is one of them.
Where's my Ice Climbers remake?
It was just a very weird announcement. But I think the last thing I want to touch on, and it's kind of huge, that Bethesda is going to be supporting the Switch even more than an old-ass game than Skyrim. They are bringing last year's Doom to the Switch, and they're also porting Wolfenstein 2, which is coming out in October. It's actually coming out the same day. It's really funny. Wolfenstein 2 is coming out the same day as Mario, and so thus they're not releasing it until 2018. I mean, they announced it for a 2018 release, and they didn't say officially, obviously, that, well, we don't want it to compete with our Mario, so... But, so, that's just my theory. But, no, they said it's not coming until next year, which is why would you wait? I understand that you don't want to have competition, but too bad you're going to have competition anyway, because people are going to buy Wolfenstein if they don't have a Switch or don't care about Mario, so I don't think people are going to wait to play Wolfenstein on the Switch compared to on the Xbox One, PC, or the PS4. The Switch, a huge first-person shooter like that isn't a portable game that I want to get into. It's a strange, and I'm gonna be surprised if the Switch can run it that well. I guess the Switch is more powerful than I thought.
Right, yeah.
And that's basically everything. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you for the next event or topic we have at our discussion. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Did you know that was a ReActionExaminer video? If you liked it, you should subscribe to me to keep up with everything that I'm doing. Also, if you have some other interests, like sex for example, check out Tomops, which is a comedy sex podcast thing wherein my best friend and I check out the weird and abnormal and the erotic. And of course, you should support me on Patreon because, hey, I want to make the channel better and I want your help to do so. Plus, if you want to check out my writing, check out Game Jerk, where I have archives and new stuff for all projects, okay? You can find all the stuff and more in the description with the links below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.